Imagine this: you're a skilled cybersecurity specialist, tasked with testing a company's web server for uncovering potential vulnerabilities that hackers can exploit. Just like any pen tester, your first step is to gather information, so you launch a network scanning tool called Nmap, and conduct a scan to identify the open ports and services running on the web server. Once the scanning is complete, you're ready to match the discovered services and their versions with known vulnerabilities, in order to gain access to the server. But how will you accomplish this? Well, this is where a powerful tool called Metasploit comes into play. Simply put, Metasploit is a framework that consists of multiple pieces of code or scripts that exploit vulnerabilities within a system, providing unauthorized access to attackers. It has three main interfaces: MSF Console, Armitage, and MSF Web. MSF Console is a command line interface, widely used by hackers and penetration testers. Armitage is a third-party graphical user interface for beginners, and MSF Web allows users to interact with Metasploit through a web browser. In this video, I'll introduce you to Metasploit through MSF Console, and cover some basic commands that will help you in getting started. So let's begin.
Disclaimer.
This video is for educational purposes only and is designed for individuals pursuing a career in cybersecurity. It focuses on discussing a widely used cybersecurity tool known as Metasploit, and does not provide guidance on hacking unauthorized systems. Black hat hacking is illegal and can result in serious legal consequences. Okay, so MSF Console comes pre-installed on Kali Linux, but if you're using some other operating system like Windows or Mac OS, you can easily download and install it by going over to the Metasploit's official website. Now, before we proceed with running MSF Console, there are a few things we need to do. Firstly, we need to run the following command to start a tool called PostgreSQL. PostgreSQL is basically a database management system that Metasploit uses to store information about the security tests it performs. Next, as this is the first time of you running Metasploit, you will need to initialize the database by typing in the following command. Once you've completed these steps, you're ready to run the console by simply typing MSF Console in your terminal. And if your Metasploit's terminal screen doesn't look exactly the same as mine, don't worry, just make sure that you have the MSF6 prompt here like this, as it tells you that you are running the newest version of Metasploit. Now, before we proceed, let's go over some of the terminologies used within Metasploit that will help you in understanding things as we move forward. Firstly, as Metasploit is comprised of multiple scripts. These scripts are referred to as modules within the Metasploit framework. Each of these modules have a specific purpose when hacking a system, and are organized into 6 categories based on their intended use. Taking a look at these categories one by one. Firstly, we have the exploit modules. These modules are specifically designed to take advantage of different vulnerabilities in the target system, and provide the means to deliver a malware or payload to the system. For instance, if a computer was running an older version of Windows with unpatched security updates, we could utilize these exploit modules to take advantage of those vulnerabilities, and install a malware or payload on the system. Now, for determining what that payload would do next once it's on the compromised device, we have the payload modules. These modules basically decide the nature of the malware that will be placed on the device after it is exploited. One example of a common module within the payload modules is the reverse TCP shell, which allows an attacker to remotely control a target system. Post-exploitation modules come into play after successfully compromising a system. They enable attackers to perform various tasks, such as maintaining access even if the target system is rebooted or shut down. Encoder modules are used to encode payloads and exploits to bypass antivirus or intrusion detection systems. And lastly, we have auxiliary modules, which serve various purposes including reconnaissance and network scanning. Now, to help you better understand what I just told you, let me walk you through a step-by-step example of how you would choose an exploit and payload in Metasploit using multiple commands. So let's start. Okay, so let's say we want to exploit a Windows system with an unpatched SMB vulnerability, using an exploit called Eternal Blue, and deliver a reverse shell payload. Now, normally, when we want to search for exploit modules within MSF Console, we use the search command followed by a keyword or a specific search term related to the target that we are interested in. So for example, if I were looking for exploits related to the Windows operating system, I would use the search command followed by a filter type, and then set that to exploit, as we are only looking for exploit modules within Metasploit. Then I'll further specify the platform as Windows, so that it only searches for the exploit modules designed to target a Windows operating system. Upon hitting enter, you can see that Metasploit has indeed returned with a list of all the available exploits for Windows, along with their names and descriptions. But since we already know that our target system has the Eternal Blue vulnerability, we can easily find the Eternal Blue exploit by inserting it into our previous search query like this. And as you can see, this module here seems to be the perfect match for our target, as it contains the keywords Windows and SMB in it. So once you've identified the module you want to use, you can copy its name and then select it using a command called use, followed by the module name like this. After hitting enter, you will notice that our exploit is now displayed in red, indicating that it has been selected. Now, whenever you choose an exploit, you will need to configure some specific options for it. Each exploit has its own set of requirements, and you can see those requirements by typing in the show options command like this. So as you can see under the exploit module, it is asking us to configure the rhost and rport to continue the attack. Rhost is the target's IP address, and rport is the target's open port. We can set these accordingly using the set command. I'm going to put in gibberish values for now. Once you're finished configuring the exploit, the next step is to set up a payload or malware in conjunction with your exploit to attack the target system with. You can achieve this by using the show payloads command, which will provide you with a list of all compatible payloads for the selected exploit. So for example, if you want to employ a common Windows reverse shell TCP payload to gain remote access to the target system, you can use the set payload command, and then specify the payload's name like this. After selecting and configuring a payload with your exploit, you'll need to use the show options command once again, but this time to configure the payload options. And as you can see under the selected payload, it is asking us to set the L host, which is our IP address, and L port, which is the port on which the compromised system will connect back to us. After configuring both the exploit and payload, you can then launch the attack using the exploit command. Anyway guys, this is it for the video, as the main purpose was just to introduce you to what Metasploit is, and how you can use such a tool to test vulnerabilities in a system. In the next video, I'll delve deeper into other modules and explain how they work, so stay tuned for that. If you have any questions regarding the video, make sure to ask them in the comments section down below, and I'll see you in the next one.